lady out there, I don't want to speak out of turn. Does it ever hurt you in your relationships where they hear you be like, we're all players? Do you have to say you're going to go back and she's like, you have some splaining to do, in Sudanese?
Well, yeah. Yeah, she'll say it in Arabic. Oh, come on, no, we need to talk. So they don't, because like I'm very open about that. Like I tell girls all the time, I'm not going to be monogamous to you. I tell them all the time, men lead, women follow. And and I do want to be important, because this is another thing that people kind of misconstrue about me. I don't tell guys to run out there and be like a womanizer, like forever. I just want guys to be able to understand women. And I understand for you to truly be able to understand modern women and the way that they move nowadays. Unfortunately, like religion and culture and all the things that used to keep women in place, the church and shame, all these institutions are pretty much gone or eroded significantly. So like women are incentivized to be whores nowadays. So I tell guys, look, get in a position where you understand women, where they can't hurt you, like whether it be with marriage or the divorce court, or you're paying alimony or child support. Understand them and then go in with your eyes wide open. And unfortunately, in today's day and age, I think guys do have to get a level of experience when they deal with women, but I just want them to do it on their terms versus doing it on the woman's terms, which is what most guys end up doing in society.
I think that's good, because I know you've had conversations, a friend of mine, Andrew Wilson, and
yes,
we agree on a lot of the, like, I think you're unabashedly red pill, you would say. And then I get lumped in with that, where it's like, we would have very different prescriptions going forward. But it sounds to me like you're saying...
we all identify the same problem.
The same problems. Yeah. Yes, exactly. And I think that's where we kind of diverge, and we can talk about it. But that's actually good for you to clarify, because I've heard you say, like, bang a lot of bitches, to use your culture, your colored nomenclature.
Yes.
But you're basically saying do it on your terms. So if you want to be monogamous, if you want to not be promiscuous, then make sure you're approaching it the right way, where you find that kind of woman. But if you want a whore, then, go to the horse store.
Yeah, and be able to identify them. So this is the thing that, like, so I get in a lot of fights with a lot of like, conservatives over this topic. So like one of the things, right? So I have 5 things that I think every guy should have. And I think we might have even had a discussion on this before a couple of years back, and it hasn't really changed too much. Make 6 figures a year, at least $100,000 a year as a guy, be 35 years old, have 6 months to 1 year of savings, be in good shape, and have sex with 50 women. Now, this 50 women thing is what has a lot of people.
It's the 5th thing.
Yeah. This is what pisses a lot of people off. Now, this 50 isn't a hard and fast 50. I just want it where guys are able to get to a point where they understand women, to the point where they don't get into a relationship with a girl and she's telling them like, oh, you're not going to get any nookie unless you take out the trash. Oh, you're not going to get XYZ unless you do this. So I don't want guys to be in a position where their girlfriend or their significant other can leverage sexuality for compliance from them, from his perspective. She should be giving that to you all the time. And she should be actually the one trying to initiate if, you do everything right, correctly. And the reason why I say guys need to have these 5 things is because in the age of Instagram, in the age of dating apps, in the age of where women have all these, opportunities, relationship and sexual opportunities, you need to be what I call like an entry-level higher status guy. And these 5 things will put you in a position where you can at least be the leadership figure in that relationship, where she's going to respect you and most importantly submit to you guys, submit to you. So that's why I say these things. Now, could it be 20 and you'll be fine? Could it be 10? Could it be 1? Hell, could you even be a virgin, maybe understand this stuff? Sure. But what I've realized is like most men don't really figure women out until they've had a significant amount of experience. And I've noticed it to be somewhere between 30 to 50. Now,
do you mean that relationally, or do you mean that sexually?
Sexually, so that you understand women appropriately, so that you can identify. It's like, like we look at World of Warcraft, right? Like you got to kill the little like monsters or whatever, like the shit wants to level up.
I thought we were talking about women. You went to World of Warcraft.
This is the problem
tonight to women.
How many women do you have if you're World of Warcraft?
Well, you got to kill the like little.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of all women drying up.
Or like, you spar with a bunch of people in boxing, right? So that when you finally have that final match against the boss, like you know how to appropriately, duck and weave and do what you got to do to be able to win the fight. Because I do think like when it gets to marriage and long-term relationship, that's going to be the hardest thing for you versus just womanizing. So you need to understand women's strategies and proclivities and everything else like that. So I think having that number and having that experience will, number 1, put you in a position where you're attractive. And then number 2, give you the prerequisite knowledge and sexuality where women can't leverage sex against you anymore. Because so many guys are like, I got my, I'm going to do whatever she wants. And that's like the beginning of the end.
You've been talking with Robert. He says that a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. He says that. I'm like, Robert, you don't understand the dynamics of female-male interplay. But I will say, I get it. And then the Christian prescription is, hey, you know what? The truth is people figure out sex. And the truth is people who are virgins who get married and then have sex, have fewer partners, are sexually happier. Now, maybe because they don't know what to compare it to.
They are.
But so what? Yeah. You know what I mean? I also think
ideally,
that
just for clarity, ideally, if a guy and a girl can get together and be virgins, that's the best scenario.
So you would say that too?
Yeah, statistically speaking, that is the best way. But me being pragmatic and understanding how women are nowadays, where the average 21-year-old girl is going to have more sexual partners than the average 21-year-old guy, like I can't in good faith tell guys to get married as a virgin and them not being destroyed because they don't understand female nature and how women are. And like, unfortunately, the church, religion, society, shame, all these different things that used to be in play back like in 1955 are no longer in play in 2025. And women have no reason to really sit there and submit to you and do what they're supposed to do because they're incentivized to not.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, is do you think? So I think you're right. We have identified kind of one of the problems in society.
Dry skin in your.
Is that what it is?
No, it's gone.
All right, thanks. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
I went like this. I scratched my nose right before we went on the show. Yeah, exactly.
Nose
Do you think though that there is a way to incentivize guys to only look for the right women, and eventually this problem goes away because women won't be able to find any guys because they're not looking for women that are sleeping around. They're actually looking for people that have some character and some I don't know what the qualities in women that we've always looked for. So instead of incentivize like saying, hey, go out and sleep with 50 so you understand them, just say, just don't play their game. Just find virtuous women, and therefore we will get rid of this problem by doing that.
The only problem with that is that so when women run game, what they do is when they find a guy that they like, they'll sell purity. And
oh yeah, no,
we all know, like, we sell success.
Seen those stories, yes.
So like my thing is like and this is another reason why.
Right, what about an app, a purity app? Follow me here. No, I'm just kidding.
You could ask some questions to it, and then I can.
Dating a water filter? What is that?
But yeah, like the thing is, you guys need to be able to identify when girls are lying to them and they're selling purity. And this is why I tell guys actually like date a girl for 6 months to a year before you ever like claim her and make her your actual girlfriend and actually getting serious, because you need time to see where she stands in her characteristics. And then another thing I tell guys is like, see if she does acts of service. Like, will she do things for you? And because a good woman is going to come in, see parts of things that you're doing that could be optimized. Like, for example, let's say you like coffee, right? But she shows up at your house, you don't have a good coffee machine. She just takes the initiative and buys you one. Right. Yeah. Or she has a cup always ready for you when you wake up, little things like that. And you don't even have to tell her. Like, that's a really good sign, because now she's becoming like almost, I always say men need to be problem solvers in the real world. Women need to be problem solvers in a household with the guy and making them better, so that they don't have to think about the little things, so they can go focus on the big things. That's where I think a woman is best. And people get mad at me when I say, oh yeah, she needs to basically be your assistant. But I truly do think like women thrive in that assistance role, because it puts you as the masculine leader and the dominant figure. It puts her as the subservient, which is what they want anyway. And she's helping you become better. And I think that's like the best way it can go. But guys won't be able to identify these types of women or be able to figure this out until they date them for a good amount of time and see where she stands with these types of things.
Do you think, because you said women's nature, and again, we would agree on the descriptions, maybe not the prescriptions, where I still think finding a chaste woman is ideal, but I also agree, blind spot, women lie in the modern world, because sometimes they're going against their nature. Their nature is not to be, is a term you use, hypergamy? Hypergamy.
Yes.
Okay. They don't want to be sluts, put it that way. They don't want to be dime store whores. A lot of them don't, right? But they've been told that it's empowering. And so sometimes women are trying, the same way that guys who simp and say, hey, I'm soft, I'm sympathetic, I'm sensitive, they're trying to fill an archetype that they have been told is appealing, which actually flies in the face of our nature sometimes. Yeah. And we see more people who are sort of acting anti-naturally, women acting masculine, acting tough, boss babe, and men, and I don't want to use the term beta, but men acting weak and subservient, and no one's happy because it's all a fake out.
No, you're actually precisely correct. I say it all the time. Feminism is the blue pill for women, right? So for men, right, blue pill guys are simps, feminine, think that women can lead and, they can, do certain masculine things and they can like defer that to her. Like, yeah, it's okay if my girl like bosses me around and tells me what to do, like, cause they're idiots and they don't understand female nature. Same exact thing with women. Women, the blue pill for women is feminism, and thinking that chasing a career, acting like a man, being masculine, challenging your husband or challenging your man is like, empowering. That is the blue pill for them. And they bite it even worse, because advertisers and society in general, like, women are easier buyers. Like, they're the target demographic for advertisers, because women are the consumers. Yep. They like to extract value, and with them, they are you. When I always say, like, when you lie, women buy. Mm-hmm. And that's what they do. That's why, like, with the Gillette commercial, we can even put in the clip here if you guys want.
Which one? The tranny mustache one, or the one the guy's like, you shouldn't actually tell the woman she's hot? Which one?
Boys will be boys?
The one, the boys will be boys graphic of customer to appease to women. And if that doesn't prove that women are the majority consumers and they run, we live in a gynocentric society, I don't know what else does. And I always tell people, like, well, they're like, oh, why is that a big deal? Men do need to be better. A lot of guys are, toxically masculine, whatever, because that was one of the commercials that pushed this whole toxic masculinity thing. And I'm like, all right, well, what if Victoria's Secret did a commercial saying, hey, stop being sluts, Stop cheating on your boyfriend. Stop being attention whores on Instagram. Like, start making those goddamn sandwiches. Do you think Victoria's Secret would have a problem? They probably would. We'd
all be losers because Joe would be out of business.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't want that to happen. It's one of the few, like that and Yankee Doodle candle store. Those are the only reasons I go to the mall, usually by myself. One point I would say is I agree.
Spencer.
One fundamental difference, though, and I think you would agree with this, but single men are very large consumers. Once they are in a nuclear family household, women are the consumers. So the marketing changes when they're single. Men tend to buy a lot of things, electronics, cars, toys, right? Sure. Once you're married, it's often women. And here's how I know I got a good woman. She's Latina, by the way. They're all nuts. But she buys men's razors. And I go, why? She goes, yeah. It's cheaper. It's the exact same thing. And that's how you know she's not a feminist, because women go, the pink tax, get a black razor, bitch.
Yeah.
You don't have to have 18 strips and Venus people singing, doing synchronized swimming in the commercial. It's literally a tax on a color that costs more to produce and you pay more. You could just buy a plain black razor. Yep. And mine does. And that's why, she doesn't have to cover up the bruising with makeup. But no, it's like,
sometimes you gotta, you know what I mean? Hey,
I don't
do.
But I will say, I do think a big part of this is recognizing women who identify that problem, because the truth is all women still have that proclivity of that. No matter what happens, but recognizing that, hey, we do tend to be more emotional. Hey, men are in positions of leadership. And the way I sort of present it when I discuss this with women is I go, you think leader, follower. There's no unit that exists in a business, in government, in the military where there isn't a hierarchy. So how about, hey, this guy's a general and you're a colonel? Yeah. Meaning everyone else is below you. Everything else in the household, everyone outside of your household is someone, your man will defer to you, just not when it's an issue of your difference of opinion, because he's the general, or he's the Secretary of Defense and you're a general, or he's the president and you're the Secretary of State. It's literally the next position from the top.
Absolutely.
But nowhere else do you go, we got two people calling the shots. Someone has to be a tiebreaker.
Yep.
And that's not dishonoring. That's as honoring as it can be outside of the one general.
Yeah. And I always tell people, basically, she's like the consigliere. If we're going to look at Italian organized crime or something like that, you're the boss. She's the advisor, right? And then obviously, whatever, obviously you make the final decision, but her input does matter to a degree. And obviously, the longer you're with her, the more value she's added to your life, the more and more her opinion matters. But my biggest thing is I just want guys to be in a position where they're the leader, they're the final decision maker. She doesn't wear the pants in the house. When you're out in public, she's not embarrassing you, which is another thing. You're self-deprecating like a simp and she, all this other stuff.
Like Steph Curry's wife?
Precisely.
Yes. Dude, my soul died a little.
Yeah.
When she's like, I've had to take him to, I've gone to therapy and, it's just, I was like, what? Your man's one of the best at what he does on earth. And he's loyal.
And he seems to be a good guy.
He seems to be a good guy who loves his kids. Yep. And she's just like, oh my God, he'll take a call during dinner. It's like, is it the president of Nike?
Yeah.
Or the president?
Yeah.
So
and it's just absolutely nuts. So that's where I want guys in a position where their girl's never doing something like that to them. And the only way is when she, number one, she doesn't, she sees you as a superior. And when she does talk about you, she should be excited and be like, oh yeah, I love him so much, blah, blah, blah. And I can actually tell the way a woman talks about her man when he's not in the room tells me everything I need to know about the relationship. If she's infatuated with him and she looks up to him and she's impressed by him, she's like his biggest cheerleader.
Building him up.
That's how you know, okay, this guy has his stuff together. But when it's like that, where she's over here bad mouthing him and complaining and stuff like that, it's like, dude, you don't have strong frame because your girl's over here saying this wild stuff about you. And the thing that kills me is the guy is extremely competent and good at what he does.
Yeah.
Well, and that also goes back to Gerald's wrong point, which is, look, it seems like he did everything right. And she still is miserable and ungrateful, as far as Steph Curry.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about you. You've done everything wrong. What I'm saying is, but Steph Curry, no, you've done it mostly right. He got really lucky. His wife is awesome.
I got very lucky, yes.
Yeah. He just...
How long have you guys been together?
We got married in 2019, so 6 years.
Okay.
Into his 30s. I'm not...
Late 30s.
Yeah, I was like, it's not...
How long were you guys dating before that?
We literally dated 1 year. We got married on our 1 year anniversary.
Okay.
We were late enough in life where kind of figured all this stuff out.
Yeah.
And everything lined up like we were talking about. She'll say to me, I can't believe these people were talking bad about their husbands. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
That same kind of stuff. Exactly. Yeah. Right.
And Gerald knew that I thought he was going to be single for life, where I was like, I don't know, I just need to give it up. That he was so excited when he was like, I want you to meet the, I think she's the one.
Strong dad?
Me?
No, her. Does she have a strong dad? Or
very strong personality dad, yeah.
Okay,
sure.
So, okay. Because what I've noticed with women like that, that just get it without you having telling them anything, 9 out of 10 times, strong father or a strong brother or uncle or somebody in their life that like put these values in them. Like, yo, you do not do this type of.
Well, and she was a woman of faith. Like she was looking for somebody to lead. And that's why I was going to say one of the failures of the Protestant church has been feminism.
Yes.
Like, and I know you're Muslim. I'm going to talk to Jay Dyer here in the next couple of.
He's the Halloween 3 of the.
Yeah. But that's one of the failures, like putting kind of inverting everything you described about women just a second ago, about kind of the role and that partnership is described in the Bible. That's the biblical prescription for it. But we've taken that and perverted it in the church, and nobody's happy because of it. Well, women aren't happy, and men are not happy.
Have taken it and perverted. That goes in the Protestant church. It's women who, and that is a failure of leadership from men. Yes. A lot of men didn't prioritize faith, and so women are the ones who take the kids to Sunday school. Women are the ones who are often the Protestant church has catered to them. Yeah, and very much. We've read it's a real problem. Yeah, where you will hear pastors sit down and talk about what a man isn't and what a man needs to be, and if you ask, well, what is a wife? He'll just tell you, well, I'll tell you what submission doesn't mean. Yeah, but what does it mean? I'll tell you what it doesn't mean. This, like, yeah, but can you call half of this place to the mat? And they don't. Yeah, and that's, I'm really glad that you said that. And that's just not a problem within the Protestant church. That's a problem in society in general, whether you know, whether in the confinements of religion or not. Like, women's roles nowadays are ambiguous. They can behave like a man when they want. They can behave like a lady when they want. And they're able to kind of what I call the proverbial double dipping, where they can demand on one end, you better pay for the day and treat me like a lady. But on the other hand, they can say, I'm a boss babe and I don't need to listen to you. And this puts us in a very weird position because now she wants me to adhere to all my duties, but she's not adhering to hers. She could talk back to me, but I'm responsible for anything if it goes wrong. So I have basically all this responsibility with no authority. And my thing is, whether, you know, it's the advice I dispense with having those 5 things in place with the 50 bodies, certain money, being in shape, etc., or, you know, vetting a girl for 6 to 12 months. My biggest thing is I just want men to be in the position where they are the decider. You want to be monogamous? Fantastic. Do it. You want to have multiple girlfriends? Fantastic. Do it. But you need to be the one dictating how things go, not the women. That's really the only biggest, that's why I do what I do, is so that men understand that they need to be the leaders. And to be the leader, you need to have these things in place and also understand what you're dealing with on the other end, because women of 2025 are no longer the women of 1955, which, you know, guys make this egregious mistake and think that they are. Yeah, that's where we would differ. For me, the prescription is, yeah, a woman should, and if she does provide those things, it is your duty as a man to honor her, to respect her, to provide her, to protect, and be. And I would put in there monogamous. Yeah. But you know, I will say that as long as the guy's making that decision and he's monogamous because he wants to be, I'm cool with it. I just don't want guys being monogamous because their wife tells them, "Oh, you better be monogamous because X, Y, Z." Like, well, I understand your problem with it too. Yeah, I understand, because the truth is, if a man commits to monogamy, and again, I fully support monogamy, not like this bigamist over here. I'm half thinking that's how you know it's a cult, if someone gets to bang everyone at the top. Yeah. But that's a power grab. I will say, it'd be like the Branch Davidians, man. Right. Yeah. That's what we're here next to Dallas. There you go. Yeah. Not too far away from Waco. Like, come on, man. I don't think you'd want hypergamy with those people. No. But I will say, like, if you promise monogamy, which I believe should be promised, the problem is you are promising something that is like 80% of the equation for a woman. If you're a man worth, you know, committing to, and we do have to understand relationship dynamics. There is leverage at play sometimes, and you've given that all up. Woman's like, if I know this man is a good man and he is going to be monogamous, I can use it against him. I'll summarize it this way. Absolutely. I have, despite what people try to say, you can even look at court records, never laid a hand on a woman, never would. But I've been with women who have been with guys before me who hit them. And I've said this where I've gone, you know what? You know I'm not going to. And the messed up thing is, I know that's being used against me. I know that you're talking to me in a way that you wouldn't to your former Puerto Rican boyfriend or whoever it is. Yep. Or Jamal. And you're just like, and so what do you do? Like, it doesn't matter how stern you are. It's like, you can be walked all over. And that is a problem that I think a lot of men just don't know how to solve, where they can be hit, where they can be cheated on. A woman can hit a man, cheat on him, leave him and take half. And so they're checking out. And so I do think that the Protestant church has come up short with a lot of solutions. Now, I certainly wouldn't go to Islam, but we smack our women. No. I know a lot of you do. We should honor them. Yeah. So I do understand that. I still think that is what we should strive for. And I don't think that going down the path of polyamorous relationships is a solution, but I get it. And I remember going, ooh, the fact that I'm not, because in other words, it's a promise I've made to myself, where I'm not going to swat you, where if you were a guy, you'd be going off the balcony, and I know it's used against me. Yeah. And since and I'm glad you said that, since we can no longer use violence to curb women, shucks.
We have to
Stop it.
we have to, oh man, damn it. We have to use something else. And what I always say is the only leverage you have as a man is your ability to walk away. Now, am I saying, guys,
Right, and that's
you
what I was
know,
getting at.
run around and smash a bunch of girls or whatever? No, but you being able to not be monogamous is what keeps women in line. Because I always said, when you have other women in line, your girl will be in line and follow what she's supposed to do, because she knows that you can get up and leave because you keep your sexual market value high. You stay the
Can we
guy.
change the language? Because I agree with what you're. Do you think maybe it might help if you change the language to, as opposed to like getting what you want? Like, in other words, if you are going to meet her expectations. In other words, like if she gets what she wants, she has to meet expectations. Because women think like, hey, you're treating me like a dog. And I understand where you're coming from. But it's true. It's like, hey, we both have expectations. You got to meet yours. You can't hold me to a promise if you're not holding yourself to yours.
Yeah, no. And the problem is that guys don't hold, make sure they don't hold the woman to a standard, which is
the legal system forbids it.
Yeah, precisely. And she has every incentive to actually break said contract. So
Yeah.
what I tell guys is like, this is why you got it. This is why I'm so big on you. You need to go to the gym. You need to make money. You need to be successful. You need to have all these things in place where you're an attractive man. And most importantly, other men respect you and other women want to be with you. You walk into a
But enough
room
about me.
and women are looking at you, right? And that helps because now your girl sees, oh, she's given a constant reminder, oh, I'm with the best that I can get. Because I always look at women as like, they're kind of like, well, they're the buyers, right? So like if you get a car, right, you get a really nice car, right, as the woman, right? I'd like to normally make the women the car with the high mileage, but we can go ahead and do it on the other side. So if she feels like she bought a car, right, and everywhere she goes, this car is getting, people are enamored by it, asking questions like, oh my God, so how'd you get that? Blah, blah, blah. That thing is rare, blah, blah, blah. Like she's constantly getting attention and compliments on it, or like people are looking at it. She knows that she got a good deal. But if she's not constantly being reminded that her guy is that guy, she loses attraction a little bit. And that's the thing that's kind of sucks with women, which is another thing I need to tell guys is like, because they don't understand this. Women are attracted to status and women are attracted to men that already have other women. We don't need that because we're decision makers on our own and we're capable of like independent thought. Like if, for example, right, let's say all of us were single, you guys weren't married. If Gerald saw a hot girl and down the street and he was like, oh man, she's hot. And we said, dude, she looks weird. What are you talking about? He'd be like, fuck you guys, I'm going to go talk to her anyway. He doesn't need us to co-sign that girl for him to be attracted to her. Women aren't like that though. They need to, they might be attracted to you, but if they see other women attracted to you, it goes even further. So they need like the community to approve of you. And there's a bunch of biological reasons for that. But
it's a competitive drive.
It's a competitive drive for them. So guys need to be that dude where, and this is where the monogamy thing kicks in. Fine, you want to be monogamous, that's fine. But she needs to know that you could leave her at any second. And I think that's what keeps women in line because you can't smack them anymore.
What do you, okay, but let me ask you this, because this is, and I know people will be, no matter how we have this conversation, people will criticize me and you and vice versa. Because I'm
totally fine.
I'm trying to be as fair as
toxic misogynist.
But does love enter into the equation? By that I mean, let's say, for example, you're General Patton, right? And you're the baddest mofo on the block, the person I can think of. Yep. And then you get hit by a car and you need some help. Are you saying that women would leave that guy because he's not desired by other women at that point? Or do we allow for, hey, knowing that he was that guy and knowing who he is, but sometimes you actually do need to be each other's support structure? Yeah,
no, of course. I'll say that, if she's a good girl, she's going to stay by there for you. But I think every woman is going to have a time clock, right? Like how long will she sit there as you're like, disabled, not able to provide and have that security? And I think this is like the more carnal and, bad side of female nature, where women are literally designed to like find the strongest man and align with that. So like if you can no longer provide that security that you used to, it's inevitable that she's going to lose a level of attraction for you at some point. So that's why I always tell guys, like if you lose your job or anything else like that, like don't cry in front of your girl, like figure it out, talk to your guy friends, don't cry to your girl, because women are literally designed to be repulsed by weakness by men, because that affects their security. So like if they see you crying or they see you get beat up by another dude, even though they might say, oh no, open up to me or I'm going to support you, like there's like some visceral reaction in the back of her brain that's going to say, oh, this guy might not be able to protect you. You might, need a change. And I've had so many girls on my show. We've had like 4,000 girls now at this point. A lot of them say,
you personally?
Yeah, on our show.
On the show, you're different number.
Yeah, girls that we've
You're like Magic Johnson.
Yeah, well, I didn't.
He's not banging dudes. I'm not kidding. Magic Johnson, straight as an arrow. Great movie theaters. Please continue.
His son not so straight. But yeah, so like one of the things I've always noticed is like when girls like lose attraction for their guys, there's some like this one pivotal point. It's either he lost his job, he cried in front of her, he showed weakness, and then she just never looked at him the same, and then the attractiveness just dropped off from there. So I'm not saying every girl's going to leave you when you're in that vulnerable position, but there's definitely a time clock that's starting.
So is there ever, because a lot of people say, well, that seems cold and bleak, and I hate to use the word transactional because all relationships are transactional to some degree. Sure. But is there a scenario where appropriate, assuming confines, assuming expectations have been met, where a man can be vulnerable or should be to trust that woman? Can she ever cross that threshold in your mind?
I think vulnerable, but in ways that won't necessarily hurt you. So like, if you have a dog and she sees how much you love your dog and how you show so much affection to it, and she sees the soft side, that's a good way, right? We're being vulnerable because it shows like your caretaking ability, or with your children, playing with them and showing that you can be a very loving father. I think this is good. But like when it comes to like you as a guy, like crying or showing any type of weakness, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do about these bills, blah, blah. I think most women would prefer for you to just solve the problem silently on the side and she doesn't even know about it, then bring that problem to her and have her help you with it. Now, am I saying that she'll leave you? Of course not. No, right. She'll be like, yeah, let's go at this together. It's us against the world. Some women will embrace it and love it, but you don't know because every girl's different. And until they're met with that problem, you don't know how they're going to respond. So I look at it like, why roll the dice, right? We were talking about revolvers earlier. Why play Russian roulette with your relationship, right? Why, if you don't have to? Because women respond so strongly to security or a lack of it. I wouldn't even chance it.
Yeah. And I think men respond in kind of to stability that's created by the woman in the home. That's a really big thing. I mean, either you're out sowing your wild oats, but when a man settles down, like he's only settling down because he wants stability in his house that he doesn't get from the world, and that's super important. That's both sides of the equation. And
for her to have to feel like the house is going to be stable, she needs to know that you're stable too, because you're the reason why she has the roof over her head. So like, I look at it like when you have your problems, your masculine problems, you should always go to your guy friends with it.